Hi, my name is Daphne and welcome to 2026. I haven't made a video in quite a while because we were taking a little bit of a break. I had 8 million bags of herbs to literally like take out of the bags and put in mason jars, the nice winter teas, mugwort tea, and also some Liptons in here as well. So I mixed mugwort, Liptons, and peppermint in here, chocolate mint. So I've been drinking a lot of tea this season because I definitely caught something from the kid who caught something from the other kids, and we keep rotating like the yuckies for the last couple of weeks. So definitely been kind of laying low. The garden has been resting. Everything is just in rest mode, and that's a good thing because sometimes you need to rest. So I have a full wooden bowl. This is also the bowl I use to like separate seeds out as well. Really sturdy bowl. I have a whole bowl of seeds, and these are not even including my fall seeds, the ones I'll be germinating. Actually start germinating fall seeds in May. So these are not actually the seeds I will be germinating in May. That's a separate video actually. So right around the time the spring plants go out to harden off, I start the fall plants. So there really isn't really a break until about June or July from germinating, and then you go towards the harvest. So you're constantly busy, and I'm okay with that. But I guys will show you in no particular order. I just have these kind of thrown in. But I will be growing sugar snap peas. One of the first things to really be harvested outside of asparagus. Now I've actually, my asparagus in my garden space are perennials. So some of them I did purchase as bare roots. Some I actually germinated from seed. And all of them are relatively producing now, outside of the ones I planted out last year. So outside of the asparagus, the peas are basically the first things to harvest. And then also the salad greens would be an easy third. So you do want to have some things that you can harvest basically all year round. So we'll be starting the peas in February because they have to go outside by April, and it takes 70 days for them to germinate. I mean 70 days for them to completely fulfill their cycle and start to harvest. These I do need to put on a trellis, so I will be growing these on what I call the cherry tomato trellis, which is over the doorway in the garden space. I might actually grow these inside of the garden as well, but it depends because the last peas I grew actually, I mean, they consumed the trellis and there was a ton of peas. So we'll see. But I definitely have enough seeds, and I did buy 2 packs of these. But I will be growing peas. I'm not mixing the varieties because I do hope to actually save seeds. And it's really easy to do. You just basically allow for the seed pods to dry up completely, let the vines die, and then when you completely forget about them and want to switch things out, you just grab the seed pods and literally throw them in a brown paper bag, and that's how you save your seed. And since I'm only growing one variety, I know it would not cross-pollinate. So the next things I'm growing are these Mexican sour gherkins. Yeah, gherkins, or cucamelons, I guess is what some people call them. I've had these seeds since 2022, and there's about maybe 20 seeds in here. So I'm going to germinate all of these. And how I germinate very tiny seeds is I germinate them inside of strawberry containers. So you'll add a little bit of potting mix. Make sure that you filter it out. You don't want to have any chunks of anything because these seeds are microscopic, and you don't want to completely cover them, but just press them down lightly with your knuckle. The strawberry containers operate as a humidity dome, and I would say it's free, but you have to buy the fruit technically, but since I can reuse those, it's free for me. So I collect my strawberry containers and blueberry containers throughout the year, and then for very small seeds, I germinate them all together. And then once they germinate and get up some size, then I can transplant them out into like actual like plant containers. But yeah, I'm growing these instead of cherry tomatoes this year. I will miss the cherry tomatoes. I'm thinking maybe I can relocate them to another trellis. I don't know. But I do want to try these as an available option to just basically snack on in the garden. And I heard you could pickle these as well. I know Jasper Roots and Refuge did pickle hers. I'm hoping that they just never make them in the house because I'm just looking for a snack to eat while I'm doing other things. And they should be in full harvest by the time the tomatoes are turning green and the blackberries are coming along. So definitely will be growing these as well. The next one is my Chinese string eggplant. And I did attempt to try these last year, but I had a terrible, we had some issues. So I think they would have been more successful had I had fertilizer. So I'm going to try to grow these again. I'm actually going to start these in March, the same time I start my tomatoes. And then we'll see how this works or how this goes. But I'm actually going to put these around the same bed that I typically go to grow the Kellogg's Breakfast or the Dr. Witchy's tomatoes in. Basically my colorful tomatoes and my orange tomatoes. I grow them in the bed right across from the opening garden door. But I might actually grow eggplant there. Strictly just eggplant and seed, like if they take off. And if we like it, I can save seeds. And that's the goal. Save seeds. I don't have to buy them again because these are from 2025, so last year. But I don't have so many left, and I'm going to germinate all of them because I had sparse germination. Even like the nitrogen component, I don't think is a factor with germination, and it was sparse. So I'm going to try to germinate all of these, and then the ones that do germinate, hopefully they do a lot better because they have fertilizer in the soil. So we're going to grow our eggplant, our Chinese string eggplant as well, in March. These are March seeds. So these will be the flowers. I have 3 different types of zinnias: peppermint zinnias, orange zinnias, and red zinnias. And then we will also be growing for insect protection, nasturtiums and marigolds. The one flower that is not listed here, well, the 2 flowers that are not listed, would be echinacea because that's a perennial, comes back every year. And I actually can harvest the root for the echinacea this year, which is pretty impressive, I think, for me, because I started those from seed. And then also borage. Borage is not a perennial, it's an annual, but they seed everywhere. They spread everywhere. And so because of that, they randomly pop up in random places every year, all around the house, in the front of the house and the back of the house. The only thing I do is just literally just like take a shovel, like pop them up and just put them wherever I need them. So I have borage seeds, but once you have one borage in your garden space and you let it flower and just like seed out, you'll never have to buy them again. You'll never have to grow them again. Also, we are growing some sunflowers. And I found out a few things about sunflowers I thought I should share with you guys because I've completely messed it up for the last 2 years. So these are kind of old seed. I think this one's from 2021. These are Mammoth Giant sunflower seeds. And I think I might only have 2 seeds left. And then we have some Red Sun sunflowers. These are what, 2022. These are absolutely beautiful. They are a vibrant red and they have multiple heads. So absolutely beautiful. Every time I plant these, I get so many compliments on them. Those and these red zinnias, it's a pop of color in the garden space that is very vibrant. Be mindful that sunflowers don't like being transplanted. Learn that the hard way. If you disturb the roots at all, they will stunt. If you grow them in the house, you can do that, but make sure that you don't touch the root and make sure that you only really have them in the house for a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks at best. Transplant them out. They can withstand, they can't do a frost, I learned that the hard way, but they can do temperatures above 50. So by the time the peas start to be harvestable, they are already sprouting from the ground anyway. So at that point, like literally move them outside, and then maybe while they're about maybe a foot tall, maybe less than that, you want to put them in the ground. So these are hybrid seeds. I purchased a combination of rattlesnake pole beans and old homestead pole beans. I have a whole container in one of these buckets here of nothing but like bush beans, and I don't grow them anywhere because I don't feel like there's a point to it. After a while they start producing. Pole beans won't do that until it gets hot, overly hot, and then they'll start right back producing as the temperatures drop off. So I love them, and you get so much for your buck. I have freezer bags full of nothing but pole beans, and we're still eating on them in soups and everything. So I have from Save Seed. I was so happy. One good thing about a dry fall is that they left a lot of the weather left a lot of my seed bearing fruit alone. So I had one huge okra still left on the vine that was crunchy by the time I got to it, which created a perfect seed. I know it might be a hybrid, but the only thing that survived was the Star of David okra, and there was one very tiny red burgundy okra. So they might be hybrids or they might be true to seed because these were the ones that actually were healthiest. So we'll see. But these are actually Save Seeds, and aren't they beautiful? So I don't have to buy anymore. Although I still have a bunch of, you know, Star David okra, but these are fresher, and fresher plants tend to win out. I haven't had a hard time germinating okra. I do find that if you soak them overnight, it's better. Some people actually clip a little bit to allow the moisture to go in. I really didn't do any of that last year. I just plopped it in the seed container and called it a day. I mean, in the germinating station and called it a day, but do you? I might actually soak them this year. But those, Star David. And then we are also growing red burgundy okra because it is absolutely beautiful. And then we have the lettuce. All of the salad greens will be grown in February, moved out early March, late March, depending on their size. They should be pretty decent with the help from the blood meal. And then they go inside of like a, basically, I cover my raised bed, my smaller raised bed in plastic, and so that creates like a humidity dome. It also protects them from like the frost. Although with salad greens, you give them too much heat and they will bolt, so you do have to be cautious of the temperature inside of the plastic. Last year I didn't have that problem. It froze so rapidly and so hard that the plastic wasn't thick enough, and a lot of the plants actually succumbed to, like, they died basically. So I'm actually getting some greenhouse plastic instead of just going to Menards for like the regular plastic. So I'll be doing that and see if that's effective. But this year I will be growing Mizuna. These seeds are from 2021, so I'll be growing all of these. May Queen lettuce. I think I brought these last year. And then we have Merlot. I've been saving seeds from Merlot for a minute, but they've all cross-pollinated with the Paris Island lettuce, and like I had some weirdness happening with that. But these seeds are from 2023. So I'm going to try to save seeds from at least 2 of these and put them on opposite sides of the gardening space. Then I also have my peppers. And I'm only really growing 2 in here, but I would prefer to grow what we eat. And so we eat a lot of cayenne peppers and Thai peppers, but because I want to actually have true seed, I might need to actually... There isn't a whole lot of seeds in here. I need about 7 plants. I think that might be about 7 seed. I have another pack. But I'm growing cayenne peppers this year, strictly. That's the only hot pepper I'm growing. They're going to be grown in 5-gallon containers because they grow wonderfully in those. On the porch, I found that my peppers don't actually like direct sun for some reason. They stunt really bad. Yeah, they don't, but they grow amazing on the porch. So I'm going to do that. And then I also have, for the one sweet pepper, it's just bell peppers because I buy those like weekly from the grocery store. So why not be able to have those in the garden space? And they like the shade as well. So I'm actually going to grow these in the garden bed right next to the mulberry tree because nothing else really grows back there. But peppers do very well in that bed. And I said I wasn't going to grow any more hot pepper, no small peppers in that garden space because it was just a mess. And then something was like trying to taste them or something. It was like little nibbles at the bottom. It was weird. But I don't know if that'll happen with the bell peppers. I've grown them there before. It was successful. So bell peppers and cayenne peppers, the only peppers I'm growing. And then for our tomatoes, I'm not growing all of these. I'm not actually sure. So here's the thing. So I do want to grow the mushroom basket tomatoes. I think I got these from, where did I get these from? I ordered them from somebody. I can't remember the name. I'll put the name here if I can remember. But Homestead Heart. I got these from there. And I have not grown them yet and I want to so bad. So, and they're cute. You know, so this would be my cute tomato, but it's not a paste tomato. I don't eat fresh tomatoes. Nobody in my house eats fresh tomatoes. I think my son, he likes the cherry tomatoes, but we don't eat the large tomatoes fresh. You know, we're not going to sit down to a tomato sandwich. So like, the only thing I actually grow these for is tomato paste in the winter and spaghetti sauce in the winter. We will cut them up on our salads from time to time, but you know, I grow like 25 tomato plants. Like, why am I growing so many tomatoes for like half a salad? You know, like basically I grow them for paste and spaghetti sauce. So like mushroom basket, these won't be the tomatoes to do that for. But because I have the seeds, why not? And they're beautiful. I know they're beautiful. I want to grow them. But here's the thing. So if I am growing these just for the hell of it because they're cute, that's kind of also the same reason why I'm growing like the Kellogg's breakfast. Because I actually don't like the color that Kellogg's breakfast turns my tomato paste and tomato sauce in the winter. but they're delicious and they grow very well. And the Dr. Witchies, both of them interchangeably taste very delicious. And I just like a pop of color in the garden for tomatoes, but they serve the same purpose. The mushroom basket is just cute to look at. Kellogg's breakfast is really cute to look at, and these are safe seed. Hopefully they're true to form. I hope so. I hope they're an orange tomato, not an orange-red hybrid. But I think so. I think I might have did it right. We have to see. Because I grow, like, typically I grow my orange tomatoes in the bed across from the garden opening where I'm going to grow the Chinese eggplant, string eggplant this year. So I think they're far enough away where they probably didn't cross-pollinate, but we'll have to see if they're true. And then we have our Cherokee Purple, which is another pop of color. But they grow so well in the garden space. I actually saved these seeds as well. These might actually be cross-pollinated because I doubt very seriously they didn't cross with the Amish paste or the San Marzanos. But I have these as well. And then I have the San Marzanos, which actually is the parent seed where I got these from. So like these seeds should be true to type and they're older. I got these back in 2021. So I do need to grow these now. And I just kind of want to see if I can save seeds from these that'll be true. I did save some seeds, but I don't know if they're true. So I do have these two, the Amish paste and the San Marzanos are paste tomatoes. So I will grow these from my tomato paste and my spaghetti sauces in the winter, strictly. And then the Cherokee Purple just for a pop of color, or the Kellogg's Breakfast. It's not going to be both of these. Mushroom baskets are just cute, right? And then the orange hat, I'm literally not growing for my garden space. I might put them in a 5-gallon bucket, maybe for my kid. And then for the squashes, I grew so much squash last year, last season, and no one wanted it. And we don't necessarily eat squash for the same reason we don't eat fresh tomatoes. It's a texture thing. But definitely will be growing some winter squash, and that will come in the form of butternut squash. Definitely have to eat that, or definitely have to grow that. And it was successful for the most part. So yeah, we'll grow that. And then just because you should have some type of summer squash in the garden, I'm not growing a bunch of them. I'm going to grow them in 5-gallon buckets. And then I might put 2 on the back end of the garden door for the enclosed garden. So a zucchini and just a yellow crookneck squash just to use up some seed. Didn't buy these, I already had them. 2022 apparently. Yep. So we grow these 5-gallon buckets. They grow very, very well in 5-gallon buckets. All of my squash I do start in the house, but just like the okra and everything else, you don't want them to get root bound. So I mean, even if they do, I didn't really see any problems with it, but like you do want to get them out like before they like get crazy. So they did actually, I did have better season with squash last year than any other season I've ever grown squash in, because I gave them a little bit of a chance to acclimate and get bigger. So even when the bugs attacked them, they still had a fighting chance. They weren't fighting as seedlings. They were fighting as like fully grown adult plants. So, and then these are safe seeds. These are patty pan seeds. The patty pan that I harvested was huge. It was like that big, and the seeds were fully developed. But I think they look fully developed, right? And we did the water test. So with safe seeds with patty pan, with any type of, like, I think squash, according to the book, anything that floats is a dead seed or a seed that's not fully developed, so you get rid of those. Anything that sinks are true seeds, and so I took those. Yeah, and we'll just test the theory to see if any of them germinate. But if they do, then they should be true to type. These patty pan, they weren't in a location where there was another type of squash. So, and they're very hardy. I mean, I got tons and tons of white patty pan squashes, and they're actually pretty delicious. So no crumbs at all about patty pan squash. You only need about 2 plants. Anything more than that, you'll have squash for life. So those are all of my seeds that I'm growing for 2026. And I'm so happy. It makes me feel wonderful. And then I kind of feel like a hypocrite, because right around, like, I don't know, July or August, right around the time you start reaping the benefits of like your hard work and energy, I just tap out and I'm just done with the garden, because it gets buggy and it gets wet and icky depending on the weather, and like stuff starts dying for no apparent reason. I don't know. I need to stop. Like, if you're putting so much work and energy into something, you should at the very least continue the enthusiasm throughout the season. And I'm gonna try, because I get my peace from my garden, and it is so beautiful. I look back on like the videos and stuff and I'm in awe of everything that can be accomplished in that garden space. And there's so much potential. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're getting all of your seeds together and making your beautiful garden plans and lists. And I actually had to remake my garden, my gardening, I don't know, like 3D model on paper. I had to redo it because the garden has changed. So hopefully you guys are getting yours together as well. And just happy and excited about the 2026 growing season. It's just amazing. And for me, it starts early. I plan early. I try to plan all season long. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a great and wonderful day. Peace.